Welcome back to another reaction video. My voice is still broken, but not actually it's not gone, but I'm actually still sick and today is October 13th of 2025. And fun fact, um you know the movie from Call of Duty Zombies, and the timeline takes place in or I say the moon in the Nuketown, and actually takes place on October 15, 2025, and where Dr. Richtofen and Samantha switch bodies, and the group and Ultima's crew just launched from the missile from a Griffin station to the Earth, and it just destroys everything. This is the year. This is a fucking year. I can't wait for a transit in 10 years, man. All right. Anyways, did I leak anything? No, I have not leaked anything. Thank goodness. And yeah. Also, oh, the video is out. It's a server blade. The video is already out. Anyway, um, today we're gonna be reacting to the why you wouldn't survive a Plants vs Zombies zombie apocalypse by Wow Such Gaming. And I actually heard from a Discord group in the Exploding Apple Discord server, and sorry about that. And do I have water? Oh yeah, I do have water. Thank goodness. Um, I mean, I did have a bunch of near friends. Anyways, so Exploding Apple did say that he actually helped this guy out, but the lore. But last time he actually mentioned Plants vs Zombies, it's just a vegetarian zombie, and he didn't understand. He did not saw the Plants vs Zombies God of Warfare series, including Plants vs Zombies Heroes, where the zombies are completely intelligent, and he just thinks that zombies are vegetarians instead. But I really hope I'm gonna watch this guy. They um actually got everything through about understanding the Plants vs Zombies, and he actually did listen. I I actually glad he didn't make that. Why you would probably survive a Plants vs Zombies zombie apocalypse, and I actually love to see a why you wouldn't survive a Plants vs Zombies zombie apocalypse, and yeah, and right now this first screen is literally from the 2013 World War Z. Please don't sue me, Paramount. And yeah, I really love your videos, Well Such Gaming, and yeah. Anyways, let's get into the videos, shall we? Yeah, let's get into the video.
Zombies are no foreign concept to this channel, and when it comes to stereotypes, the
I watched
zombies
that
of
too.
Plants vs. Zombies
Hashtag alive.
exemplify the one word vernacular of yelling brains. Although not as busted as the zombies of Return of the Living Dead, there
Hmm.
is something wholeheartedly unique about them in their creation, recreation, and overall means of death and destruction.
Okay, I actually glad that he actually understands the lore of Plants vs Zombies. I actually glad.
Construction, with some reasonable lines of questioning stemming from the terms of today's topic of survival against them. What if the general outbreak of the zombie apocalypse were
Hmm.
explored more beyond the realm of one insane David's private property? And to that
Mm-hmm.
end, what would it mean in terms of our survival? It is implied that the
Yeah.
rest of the world is basically screwed and only pockets of resistance remain in humanity's stead.
Did he forgot to mute the video? Did he forgot to mute one of the video sounds in this video, or did he just did it on purpose?
It's the undead going to cruise
Yeah.
ships and stuff. How do these deadites come to existence in the first place, though? What makes them deadlier than your typical garden?
Okay, I don't think that the Plants vs Zombies China might. I don't think that Plants vs Zombies China could be official to the actual canon of the Plants vs Zombies series. and I really hope it doesn't. Yeah. Forget what I said.
Variety reanimated archetypes if a virus is not preeminent? And most importantly, what if we took the plants out of the namesake title and out of the equation? Well, let's dive into that, as today we are discussing why you wouldn't survive a
Plants vs. Zombies zombie apocalypse.
Years ago, a strange-looking man by the name of Edgar George Zambos worked tirelessly in the field of thanatology, the scientific study of death in terms of its biological, psychological, and societal aspects. More notably, in the biological aspects did he focus on, did he earn a doctorate in thanatology in the span of only 2 years. Thusly dubbing himself just Dr. Zambos, he would go on to using his hyper-intellect to construct thanatological technology, having been what many consider a zombie from birth, or at least zombie-looking adjacent. Zambos devised a plan to make others in his image. Developing a purple neurological gas that could reanimate the dead, much like the noxious fumes dispersed in the Resurrection Cemetery in Return of the Living Dead, administering his specially made fumes into an untold amount of graveyards, cemeteries, and mortuaries as the particles seeped into soil, coffins, body bags, and more, reanimating all forms of human corpses to come back to life and serve at his beck and call, so that he may rule not only his local neighborhood and district, but the world at large, having a collective goal of his and all of his undead denizens to go out and collect the brains of all living people. Whether it be to consume them or harvest them is not fully disclosed, because this is a family-friendly game series after all. But what we do know is that the human population will be under siege against a sudden influx of deadites rising from their graves and attacking the living. However goofy, cartoonish, or frankly overpowered they are. Now, it is theorized that the zombies themselves are merely clones of one another in body, with deviations and mutations once the supply of rotting corpses ran dry for the bad doctor. Think in the same vein as the monsters of Killing Floor, how Horzine Laboratories cloned their feral beasts of the clots and more in an attempt to create super soldiers, and then it just went completely wild, as multitudes of monsters, big, small, and bloody outrageous, emerged from more and more cloning facilities and labs across the world. Think that, but with a singular entity controlling the means of production, and with a more unified goal. Instead of turning the human population into a gore fest, he wants to use your brains. The goal of zombie multiplication is most likely centered around their trademark wants and needs. Maybe the acquisition of brains is what powers the creation of new zombie clones. That, or repurposing the brain to be put into zombie clone bodies. There is no zombie virus this time around, so for basically, I think, the first time in one of these Why You Wouldn't Survive scenarios centered on the reanimated dead, we will not be harping on some kind of viral pathogen going wild through the land, sea, air, or bodily fluids. No, we're not going to worry about that. Instead, it's through sheer power and numbers created in consistent manufactured methods. Regardless of where you believe these zombies first came from, this undead army created by Zambos is a force to be and will stop at nothing to get them. They do not have a problem with eating plants and destroying obstacles that will get in their way. Having the ability to consume the vegetation in front of them can make them classified as the vegetarian zombie previously discussed in my video talking about the United States Army's zombie defense plan.
That's what I meant on the video.
These particular zombies eat flora not for sustenance, nourishment, or even enjoyment, but to eliminate them if they get in the way by any means necessary. These zombies love brains of the living, but will stop at nothing to destroy greenery. To the undead, they view all plant life as annoying roadblocks to the brainy finish line. But why plants? What the hell did these unsentient life forms do to earn the veganism-leaning cannibals' ire? Well, it's through the botanistic weaponry of Crazy Dave, who did figure out ways to make plants that could fight back and even stop the zombie apocalypse, and Dr. Zomboss. But as we stated before and in the thumbnail, the plants are out of the equation, and there will not be a Crazy Dave as the countermeasure to Zomboss. Instead, Zomboss and his invasion of the dead will hit our world like a truck, as you will simply be a normal.
God, I actually hate my fuck, they're so annoying. God, I hate my dehydrated mouth.
Survivor. Attempting to not have your gray matter scooped out, what are your chances of survival? How dangerous are the PVZ zombies? What can they do to our world and environment? Cause hell, what does a pea shooter that's made from a plant have over a 6-shooter or even a 12 gauge and a Molotov against some zombies? Am I right, fellow Americans? Well, that's a hard question to answer because there are so many.
Also, Naperville, it actually takes place in the west side of the either Seattle or the city starts with a V in the Canada. Yeah, there actually takes place somewhere in Canada.
Different types of zombies that
because I actually read that on Wiki.
Vary based on speed, size, intelligence, and resourcefulness.
Exactly.
Their nature alone can be unpredictable. The sheer variety
because they
of
use
them,
guns,
expansive numbers,
they
and
use
expertise
weapons,
can be a force of nature. You may assume that normal zombies like the brown coat will be slow-moving and dim-witted, and then all of a sudden you see another fast zombie run at you with a pole in his hand, ready to vault over any obstacle in his way. Luckily, you're not the main character of the game, so you don't have to worry about zombies constantly attacking your house, and your best bet is to hide in your home. We have seen many other humans do this, such as the out-of-shape human in the town center map of Battle for Naperville. It is assumed that Zomboss directly targets all military and industrial complexes to quickly overrun and disable all defense and offense against his domination. He is strategically taking out anything that is a threat. So it's to be assumed that the military in your country will be nixed and unable to save you. The government will not be able to address the zombie threat because they get overwhelmed so quickly. You are going to be on your own with the people around you and anything you have around you. More than likely.
Also, I knew he would make this video. I knew this video would come. I'm actually so happy right now.
Likely, Zomboss will have made millions of corpses rise and besiege areas to create cloning facilities out of our own advanced technology to ramp up zombie production and utilize intelligent and strategic brains in order to do so, choosing to eliminate the strongest resistances on Earth first and trickling down his brain economics to you. The zombie horde, in its thorough combing of the human populace, will eventually come knocking at your door, wherever you may be. Trying to bunker down with boarded up windows, come knocking at your door, wherever you may be. Trying to bunker down with boarded up windows, plentiful supplies, and ample weaponry will not do too much in keeping them at bay and keeping you safe. These zombies never run out, and they will just keep coming. Conventional weapons and defenses will work for a short period, but eventually will run out. Zomboss creates new zombies every day and will concoct new forms of zombies to make sure any contingency
is my favorite character
with dead resistance, whether it be for brain, brawn, or more. But how could just sheer numbers overwhelm the militaristic and governmental forces, let alone you? Well, it's their legions and their diverse troops. So what kind of zombies are we talking about that are going to be comprising this army of zombosses?
What is it? Alright.
Starting from the grave grounds up, we have the usual suspects of the regular zombies, relentless in their march and resistant to moderate amounts of damage. Constantly coming in by droves, their lethality is not just their numbers, but their adaptability. The zombies are smart enough to start wearing armor like you see with some zombies wearing cones and buckets, some snapping doors off their hinges to use as shields, random pole-like objects to pole vault to higher ground or across gaps to reach you, some even wearing scuba gear to attack from the water, donning apparel and tools to make their means of maneuvering through the environment to get to you a lot easier, even using ladders to clamber over walls and obstacles, wearing minor clothes and using pickaxes to dig their way into your safe havens. No matter how hard they may be, they will pick their way through. Remember, these are undead soldiers being directed by the thousands by one man with a big brain. So over time, the longer you
Dr.
survive in this
Zomboss.
apocalyptic world, the smarter the zombies get to add to their numbers. It gets to the point where you see zombies driving vehicles like Zambonis, or even mutating to create diverse boss creatures and ones that can suit for battle for any means. After acquiring enough brains or utilizing the former lives of the people they harvest gray matter from, the zombies themselves will look to have career paths that push them up the zombie corporate slaughter ladder. Not even animals are your friends either in this scenario, as dolphins and even chickens are used to assist the zombies on their conquest for brains.
Exactly,
Eventually,
Dolphin
learning
Rider,
how to
Chicken
use firearms
Wrangler.
themselves, foot soldiers, engineers, scientists, all-star athletes, all of these are just some of the classifications that can branch off into
They're
many
from God of
different
Warfare
subclasses
1.
for them to use their clothing, tools, and knowledge and expertise in many different ways of finding you, weeding you out, and plucking your cranium. Creating devices to sound you out to figure out where you are using sonars and whatnot, making more weapons that will render anything of ours ineffective like EMPs and more. Athletic types running offense to tackle you down or make the distance and speed and break through defense. Climbing any building to get to you. Soldiers to fight fire with fire against you and whittle down anything you can throw at them. Shit, you might have a full arsenal and a heavily fortified home or place of business. Shooting at them, picking them off for fun. These zombies will learn. You might take out dozens or even hundreds, but they are almost like a hive mind intelligence of the greatest variety of zombies to possibly ever exist. Eventually, they're going to realize that guns, bladed weapons, flammable weaponry, and more, these are going to be piercing these frankly crappy excuses for armor and harder surfaces that they're using that resist their scrounged up tools and weapons, and then they'll turn to wearing metal plating and bulletproof vests and more that they commandeer from their former conquests in military encampments and more. And of course, you have genetically modified super variants that are made for destruction and leveling the place. None more so than the Gargantuar, a towering dumbass beast with the peak physique to wield a damn electric pole as if it were a simple melee weapon. For reference, standard electrical poles stand up to 40 feet tall, or over 12 meters for anybody that's outside the Freedom Country, and can weigh just over 1,100 pounds, meaning their Gargantuars are just as tall and bulk up probably way more to be able to achieve these feats, squashing and crushing everything in front of them with their half-ton weapon. If the green tank feels like its body is beginning to suffer too much damage, or that it cannot successfully reach its prey, then it will resort to using its symbiotic buddy known as the Imp. Usually attached to these behemoths like herons to gators, these little creatures can be thrown long distances and at high speeds to bridge the gap, either to finish off targets or distract you long enough for the slow Gargantuar to catch up to you. The imps themselves, who were previously used as weapons such as explosives or assisting their Gargantuars, eventually learn how to operate gigantic attack mechs that will destroy anything they see. So even if the Gargantuar sends one of these out and you think you can take out the little guy, he can either explode or take over a robot on his own. There is no range weakness with these armed zombies, either as snipers like the pirate zombies or the melee tanks like Super Brains. They are not easy to deal with either. With some of these variants as well, can make their combat unpredictable. Some of the Gargantuars can be infused with what looks like the Rage virus to give them bloody eyes to become Giga.
That's a Giga Gargantuar. That's what I said. Yes.
But they are way more durable and violent to most forms of physical trauma. Other modifications to previous zombies like the Yeti, who was docile and shy at first, will not hesitate to freeze you and chuck giant icicles manifested from its own body if you get too close. Yes, they're going to be throwing icicles that can freeze you on the spot. The disco zombie learned how to pick up a disco stick and then use it as a machine gun and then command other musically inclined undead to coordinate attacks better. Close-range karate zombies like the Zen Sensei can easily pack a punch with hand-to-hand combat, disarming you and probably knocking your head off with one kick to the face. Then you have the
I think you got the wrong Zenzi, but got no problem with that.
Of Baron von Bats, the zombie vampire. Yes, that is a thing that will always pursue you to feed off your life and energy. You have freaking vampire zombie hybrids swooping in to suck you dry. Every avenue, don't take that in a different way, but every avenue of what a monster is in fiction or a human with a 9 to 5 can do is at their disposal. Monsters and humans alike and all their capabilities hybridizing in these forms of zombies. During the battle for Neighborville, the zombie classes get even more ridiculous, like Boogie Dancing Electric Slides, the Precise Homing Laser Shooting Sci-Fi Gal Space Cadet, or even the Trigger-Happy Explosive Lover 80s Action Hero. Although there are no variants for them, the situation in Neighborville is no better than Suburbia. Earlier, I mentioned how these particular forms of the undead have a different palate for what they eat. While plants may not be weaponized against them anymore, they could still have an appetite for vegetation destruction, eating any plant life, possibly as a means to destroy sources of food for us and what we eat, and eventually over time to reduce oxygen levels worldwide to just kill us off and make attaining brains an easy shopping spree. Possibly Dr. Zomboss directing most of his undead variations to collect people's brains and destroy resistance with a small faction specifically designated with destroying plant life slowly but methodically the world over, both to fight.
Dude, I actually thought about dressing up or cosplaying as a God of Warfare scientist for the expo, but let's see if it actually works out. But I actually want to cosplay that scientist.
Analyze his reign over the planet and kill off any air-breathing humans, but also to prevent the weaponization of plants and the possibility of that happening in the case of Crazy Dave. It is foolproof. But if the proof is full and it seems like we are fighting back to a decent capacity, then Dr. Zomboss himself can take matters into his own hands, whipping out giant damn mech suits to pulverize all opposition. I mean, look at this thing. That's gonna be coming at us with thousands of zombies in the mix. Kind of like those giant robots the Martians used in Mars Attacks, being heavily resistant to all forms of damage and being quick to literally trample you underfoot. But it's not just the giant mechanization of his machinations that will be deadly and a final nail in the coffin to your resistance and survival. Zomboss is cartoonishly evil and, like William Afton, will always come back. Zomboss has all the knowledge to create mechanical monstrosities with ease, so when you destroy one of his robots, he can just create a new one in its place as if nothing happened in a very short amount of time. That, or he probably has dozens of other mechs of different varieties to take its place. The dude is so advanced in technological prowess that he goes beyond that of his original degree in thanatology, bending the very time-space continuum with the ability to travel through time. Zomboss can track you
he's going through the time.
Whenever you are. He comes up with ridiculous schemes on the fly, with each being more ridiculous than the previous. He enjoys nothing more than chilling at home while operating a giant blimp and ordering it to drop bomb strikes and wreak havoc on Suburbia. So we're going to see periodically in our world rather random bombings of an already ravaged planet that has barely any food, barely any water, barely any oxygen, and most defenses destroyed. He's just going to be dropping bombs randomly across it just for his pure enjoyment. Zomboss, in his own time, already claimed so much of the planet with zombie terraforming. Yes, he is redoing the planet so that zombies may cultivate it indefinitely. And at one point, he actually succeeded in taking over Suburbia and renaming it Zomburbia so that there really is nowhere
Oh,
to
wait.
cultivate it indefinitely. And at one point, he actually succeeded in taking over Suburbia and renaming it Zomburbia so that there
Yeah.
really is nowhere to run. He has long-term plans once he has won and the zombies have taken over to make sure that they will never lose and that humans will never prosper. If you find yourself advanced enough to somehow flee the planet and get to space, the zombies are also already there with a private Zomboss moon base. They already have
Yeah.
satellites scattered around the planet. They are waiting for you even if you get off our little blue marble. Across all space and time, Zomboss, if given ample time and opportunity, will have already beat you there in every way, shape, and form. There is nothing you can do. Without those highly animated cartoon plants to help protect you, you will not last long here. Yes, you have guns, tanks, and advanced weaponry, but even with the plants on your side and what I just stated, you will not have the same plot armor as Nate and Patrice from the comics. The zombies are coming, and they will never stop coming. They will not stop the onslaught until one zombie is able to get into your house and pop your brain out. Unless someone
Oh,
stops
no.
the zombie production in Zomboss's labs or destroys every single gravestone in existence, the zombie threat will always be there. At least in shows like The Walking Dead, granted, there are so many walkers, there can only be so many of them when there is a finite human population they transformed from. Here, it does not matter, because if you think about it, no matter what the zombie apocalypse is, as long as the human population that they stem from eventually dies out, either from 28 days later rage virus where they die of malnourishment or dehydration, or just all the zombies rotting to death after all these years. In Plants vs. Zombies, they are not from a direct source. They are cloned. It does not matter. Every head that pops off each zombie when they die is pointless in the end. For every one zombie you kill, there's probably 2 to 3 more to take its place. You will see that same zombie over and over again, and there is no stopping. They're basically infinite hordes, unless, again, you destroy all dead human bodies on the planet and get rid of the facilities that are cloning them. Space travel will not save you, as zombies found a way to make their way to the moon, and even time travel can't save you either, as the zombies alter human history where they are always there in every single place in every single time. Honestly, that fact alone is busted. Basically, even if you somehow do win, the zombies can go back in time and just alter history to where they win in a pinnacle point of our timeline to change everything. Compared to other zombie scenarios, this makes the Plants vs. Zombies absolutely terrifying. It's basically if Return of the Living Dead zombies made love to Call of Duty zombies and raised them on Saturday morning cartoons and then got a job at the killing floors cloning facilities. These are some Toon Force ass zombies, shredding plants, indefinitely remaking more and more troops, destroying societies, reconfiguring the very planet we exist on, and ultimately turning our brains into power sources for the clones of infinite zombies. When you take the Plants vs. out of the equation, all that's left is literally zombies. Man, that sound profounded as hell.
Sounds
That
like
about
Mr.
wraps up
Boss.
this look into Plants vs. Zombies. What do you think? Are you built different to take on the Toonie Terrors? Is there something I missed? Let me know down below. Big thanks and special shout out to channel Explodin' Apple for helping out with the script to this video
Yeah,
today.
that's what I
Check
said
out
about-
his channel down in the description below or at the end of the video for more PVZ content. Also, thank you to my Patreon patrons and YouTube channel members who chip in to have their names featured on this list here too. You can do it just by throwing in $1 to have your name featured and see my videos up to a week early. Until next time, I'm Zackass, aka Wow Switch Gaming. Never forget to stay happy, stay healthy, and never forget to stay wow.
Wow, W video. Yeah, W video. Anyways, oh man. I'm actually gonna cry. If I actually cry, you guys have to look away. And, Thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and as always, I'll probably see you guys in the next video. Peace out.